Mac Jones this morning. The Patriots rookie quarterback had himself a game on Sunday against the Browns. Maybe the best we've seen him as far as throwing the ball downfield. It was just the latest cameo in what is turning into a pretty nice rookie season. To the surprise of many, not you, Kevin Wildes, not you, Chris Broussard, not you, henchman of the corner, not you, Honey Badger. In fact, Honey Badger, speaking of which, Chief Safety Tyrann Mathieu tweeted this yesterday. Mac Jones wasn't trendy enough for y'all at first. Now y'all love him. Y'all think he's funny. Oh, you're all funny. Day in, day out, y'all should be on Comedy Central. But hold on, there's more. He doesn't throw sidearm or run fast, so people knocked him. Dude can play quarterback, period. This is high praise from one of the league's top defenders. We have, not you, Greg Jennings, Super Bowl champ Greg Jennings joining us now. But, Nick, I'm going to start with you. What do you make of Tyrann Mathieu's praise of Mac Jones? I hope someone saw the henchman movie.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what Tyrann Mathieu's saying, which is it is ridiculous for people to have one evaluation of Mac Jones and then less than a dozen games into his NFL career change it, which is why I haven't changed mine at all. And let's just remember, and people think I hate Mac Jones. I don't hate Mac Jones. I think about Mac Jones, what I thought about him coming out of Alabama. The most pro-ready quarterback with a very limited ceiling. So shockingly, when he gets drafted by the best coach team in football, he looks pretty pro-ready. And shockingly, ceiling doesn't look very high. Jenna said it right. One of his best games of the year throwing the ball down the field, which resulted in, let me check, 198 passing yards. So here's the deal. Here's my criticism, or not even criticism, my feelings on Mac Jones. Going into this year's draft, I thought Trevor Lawrence was clearly the #1 pick. I thought Justin Fields was the next best quarterback, and I thought Mac Jones was third. With the asterisk of, I didn't know anything about Trey Lance. I'm not going to pretend I watched Trey Lance 2 years ago, North Dakota State. I didn't. So I trusted the evaluators on Trey Lance. I didn't like Zach Wilson. Right now, Trey Lance is still an unknown. I still don't like Zach Wilson, and I still think Trevor Lawrence is better, Justin Fields is better, and Mac Jones is third. That hasn't changed. My concern for Mac Jones, Greg, is very simple. With a limited ceiling in the AFC, will he ever be better than Mahomes, Lamar, Herbert, Allen, Burrow, Lawrence? That's 6 guys. Now, right now, this moment, he looks better than Lawrence, but I'm very curious for Patriot fans. Would you trade Mac Jones for Trevor Lawrence straight up? Because I would argue if you wouldn't, you're insane. I know the Jags wouldn't do it. So that's the critique. The critique is his best case scenario to be the 7th best quarterback in his own conference. Is he pro-ready? Sure. Does he look polished? Yes. How much better can he get? And how much of a, as coach would put it, force multiplier is he? I don't think very much better, and I don't think much of force multiplier. That's what it is. It's not that he's terrible. It's that his ceiling is average. That's what I think about Mac Jones, Greg.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair, and I'm with you. I agree with all of what Tyrann Mathieu has said about Mac Jones. I think so early, we often compare quarterbacks immediately coming out of the gate to everyone else who's already had an established career or has had some level of success in the National Football League. And it's unfair because you can't compare someone to a stage that they've never played on. You can try to think that you know what's going to play out, but we don't. Here's the deal with Mac Jones. And the one thing I will disagree with you is when you talk about his ceiling. He has a very low ceiling. I disagree with that. And this is why I disagree. When you come in as a rookie, you're going to be asked to do certain things, depending on where you're drafted in that situation of which you are drafted. The New England Patriots did not draft Mac Jones to be Joe Burrow. They didn't. The Cincinnati Bengals a year ago drafted Joe Burrow to be everything. We're all you're all we got. You're all we need. You're going to draw everyone to our destination now because of what you're going to bring to the table. That's not what the New England Patriots were going to ask of Mac Jones. They were going to ask him to protect the football. And how about this? How about this, Wildes? How about just ask him to do your job and do it effectively? We're not going to ask you to throw the ball 15, 20 times down the field, to drop your completion percentage, to put us in unmanageable situations when it comes to first, second down, and third down. We're not going to ask you to do that. We're going to ask you to turn around, hand the ball off, make the passes, make the throws when we need you to. Be special. You're going to have to make some big throws. I'm sure Josh McDaniels is telling Mac Jones every single week, we're going to need you to make a big throw. We don't need it every single series, but we're going to need you to make a big throw. Why? Because we have a defense. We have a defense that we're going to rely on. You have the luxury. You have, and this is one thing that goes overlooked far too often, the center position. When you have a center like David Andrews, not an all-pro, not a pro bowler, but he has tremendous amounts of experience, and he can assist with making play calls in line adjustments so that Mac Jones doesn't have to carry all of that on his shoulders. That is huge. That has allowed Mac Jones to go into that huddle with the level of confidence that he walked on stage with when he knew he was entering into a perfect situation for himself.
I totally agree with you, Greg, and I have two corrections to our friend Nick Wright. First of all, he tried to disparage Mac Jones' 198-yard game. Well, that's because we actually sat him down and let Brian Hoyer get a few reps and throw a touchdown because we were ahead by so much. So sorry he didn't throw for 250. We're actually winning by so much. We're like, you know what? Let's move on. We got a Thursday night game. Why don't you start planning for that? So miss me with the 198 stuff. He played excellently. And Nicholas, you know he played great. That was a little Nick statistical trick. Here's the reason why I think he was overlooked, though, Broussard, because I didn't think he was going to be this good. I mean, some people maybe they thought he was going to be excellent. I think he's exceeded expectations. First of all, he has developed from Alabama to now, right? That's obviously Bill Belichick, obviously Josh McDaniels. But here's the other weird thing. The history of Alabama quarterbacks makes it very hard to judge. Like, they've won national championships, and here are the quarterbacks who have won the national championships with Alabama. Greg McElroy, A.J. McCarron won 2, Jake Coker, and then Jalen and Tua kind of split that one, and then Mac Jones. Do we think that any of those guys were going to be like otherworldly quarterbacks? Even though Mac Jones, like statistics in college were fantastic, it's hard to judge. I would say Mac Jones is the best by far of all those guys. Here's the other thing. The skill position players that are on Alabama kind of make for a fuzzy way to compare the quarterbacks at Alabama to the quarterbacks anywhere else. Last year, they tied the record. They had 6 guys go in the first round, including the Heisman Trophy winner. Granted, some guys were on defense, but still, the team is so dominant, I think it makes judging the quarterback position really difficult. And finally is this. I think we all, Broussard, kind of thought the death of the pocket passer, we called the death of the pocket passer prematurely. Mac Jones has 59 yards. We thought everything was going to be Patrick Mahomes, Lamar, Josh Allen can run, Daniel Jones is out there running, everybody's moving. And Mac Jones is not. We thought that was reserved for just like the old dinosaurs, Tom Brady and Roethlisberger. But now Bill Belichick is proving, all right, you want to zig, I'll zag. My guy won't run and will still win. So for those reasons, I think I think Mac Jones's ceiling is nothing short of a Super Bowl victory.
I agree with you, Wiles, and I think Nick is definitely underplaying Mac Jones' ceiling. And one thing that Nick and others have underrated about Mac are the intangibles. All right, I am a stickler for intangibles when it comes to a quarterback, and Mac Jones has them in spades. Now, the intangible, you need a certain level of physical ability. All right, you can have all the intangibles in the world. If you don't meet the required level of physical tools, it won't matter, a la Tim Tebow. But Mac Jones is accurate. He's got a good arm. He's got the physical tools and the intangibles. I'm talking about leadership. I'm talking about coachability. I'm talking about work ethic. I'm talking about making smart decisions. I'm talking about being secure in who he is, being able to get the guys in the locker room to believe in him. He has all of that. And that is why this guy is going to be a good quarterback. Nick, I agree with you. I would take Trevor Lawrence for his upside. And if Mac Jones were in Jacksonville, I don't think he'd be doing this. But I don't think Trevor Lawrence would necessarily be better in New England than what Mac Jones is doing. And I think you are understating Mac Jones, like that he's just this dink and dunk guy. He has made some, they're opening it up a little bit more now. Every week they're giving him a little bit more, and he has thrown some absolute dimes. He got it to Kendrick Bourne for the touchdown, split double coverage against the Browns. I mean, right down the middle. Yep. He handed it to Hunter Henry once in the end zone, just right there in the basket. Like, so you got to stop ripping Mac.
I'm not
or
arguing
Tyrann Mathieu's next tweet will be about you.
No, I'm worried about Honey Badger's next tweet. I'm not arguing he's terrible. I'm arguing that if your best case scenario is to be the 7th best quarterback in your conference, I'd like to know the last time the 7th best quarterback in the conference won the Super Bowl. He'll never be better than Mahomes. He'll never be better than Herbert. He'll never be better than Lamar. He'll never be better than Josh Allen.
Why would he be better than Justin Herbert?
What? Because I think Justin Herbert has shown more in a... Okay, that's fine. This is one of those sports things we'll get to see play